All right, y'all, it's round 2. We're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to take the letter B and we're going to talk about a big subject that I believe has a big, massive impact on healthcare, on health expression, and on our experience as a whole. So jump on in. Let's go. We're talking birth and babies. Hey guys, it's Dr. Devin Vrana. Welcome to the A.B.C adventure. We're in week number 2. Last week we talked about attention and awareness and the law of attraction. I hope that it's woke up and shook up some good conversations within you where we're looking at what are we thinking about? What are we giving our focus and attention to? Because thoughts become things. Where we put our attention, that energy starts to flow, and ultimately that's creating our reality. So whether you've read the book The Secret or you've seen the movie, I've gone to the seminars, I've heard this said and written and shown in lots of different ways, but unless you're moving with this truth, I love how Joe Dispenza says that, it's not enough to know. We have to know how. I hope that last week bringing up that conversation got you going. Make a vision board, get your accountability buddy, talk about goal setting, get up and meditate and put your focus on those things, and really just start to draw awareness to what you're thinking about, because that's creating your reality. Now, we're moving on. We're going to the B, which is for me so close to my heart and such a big topic that has big potential. It's birth and babies. So personally, I have 5 children. I have Roman, who's 14 and starting high school this year. Jagger and Knox, our first set of twins. They're 8 years old. That's right, I said first set of twins. We have twin 2-year-olds, Magnolia and Phoenix. They're turning 3 actually in a few days. So I've done this thing, this pregnancy and birth and labor and delivery and postpartum. I've lived this 5 different ways, and I've collected my birth stories, which I actually invite all of you to do. I'm going to share those in my blog, so make sure and check out the link. I'm going to open up my heart and my experience with all of you, and it was really beautiful and healing to jump back in and relive what was going on physically and emotionally, and what that pregnancy, birth, baby experience looked like in my 5 different ways, and really celebrate myself and the victories and the connections with each of them, and be really raw and vulnerable and jump back into the spaces that needed a little healing and needed some forgiveness. And it really set the tone for why I feel like this topic is so big. Personally, I've lived it, and professionally, I pour my heart and soul into it. I'm a prenatal and pediatric chiropractor. I believe that prenatal and pediatric health are the gateway to changing our culture and opening new potential and expression in health and wellness. And so I see these moms that are pregnant, and I get to hold these babies that are fresh out of the womb. And this is where the conversation should, I believe, start. And so I invite you in this week's topic to, number 1, ask the question, how was I born? What was your birth story? There's my mama up there, and really going back to how I got here on a physical note. It was a long, really hard birth, and they had to end up using the forceps to get me out. And if you look at pictures of me, I tend to wear a little bit of a right head tilt. I had a lot of headaches. I had some visual issues, and I really do believe and know that that's tied to the trauma of my entrance into the world. It wasn't until I started getting adjusted that I became aware that my head wasn't on straight. And I think that began a long time ago. So my own birth story told me a lot about some physical things within myself. And I invite you to go back. What's your story? How did you get here? We have heard, I hope you've heard the concept of the miracle that you are. The odds are 1 in 400 trillion. 1 in 400 trillion is the miracle of you, that 1 egg and 1 sperm would come together in that moment in time and become the cosmic creation that is you. And if we can hold a reverence for that, if we can take a moment to ask the question of our own birth and how we got here, what was pregnancy like for mom? What was the birth like? What was the initial few months like? Because being aware that we're physically wiring and firing at such a rapid rate during that prenatal time, and when we first get here, we learn a lot about ourselves. Now, the second question, if you are planning to get pregnant or if you are currently pregnant, I'm going to little segue here. Go get this book. Go get this book. I'm going to write more about it down in the comments on this, but Jennifer Floriani out of Australia wrote, I believe, the most brilliant book on the market today for pregnancy and birth. So go get that if you're planning to get pregnant. If you're pregnant, if you know someone that's pregnant, go get this book. But, start to ask the question, what type of pregnancy and birth do I want to be experiencing? I don't even think we ask the question. It's just you go through the regular scheduled OB visits and sonograms. No one ever told me that I could create a birth plan. So I've written down there a little bit more about that. And I want to talk about the support circle that you can create around you. Who is your OB and why? Who is your midwife and why? Do you have a doula? Do you want a doula? Do you have a massage therapist? Do you go to an acupuncturist? Are you getting adjusted by a chiropractor? What are the physical and emotional benefits of that on you and the baby? And dad. As I really dove in, I've taught all over the country and I speak about prenatal and pediatric health a lot, which gets very woman and child focused. But when I was doing a lot of research, I found some really alarming statistics that while 1 in 9 women suffer with postpartum depression, 1 in 5 men go into episodes of deep depression and anxiety in fatherhood. And I got to give it to you guys. I mean, you play a huge role in this whole thing, not just in conception and creation, but then in wearing the weight as women kind of go within themselves, because we have to, physically and emotionally and spiritually, and we're growing these humans and doing all these things. You end up carrying more of the weight. And so also I want to draw attention to, growing healthier children from conception, giving mom more props and support throughout pregnancy and birth. Ultimately, yes, you get a healthier child. Yes, you get a healthier labor and delivery. Yes, mom is happier and healthier. And that spillover carries into dad. That carries over into the work world. That carries out into our community. So we're all in this thing together. So this birth and babies topic is for you to go back and, ask the question about your own birth to better prepare and be aware of your options in your current birth. And, what kind of openings do we create in healthcare when we start to just celebrate the miracle? And I talk about, I grew 5 humans, but I didn't really grow them. I mean, I gave them a really cool womb to hang out in, and I tried to nurture myself physically and emotionally the best that I could, but I didn't design the kidneys or the fingers or toes or eye color. It's this innate, beautiful, blissful time where literally you are connected in God, source, whatever you want to call it, that's moving through you and designing these perfect humans. And so let's just hold space and prayer and appreciation for all the mamas trying to get pregnant out there, for all the mamas that are carrying precious cargo right now, that are rock starring their birth, no matter how it goes, who are coming back into the workplace or, healing emotionally and physically after the birth. Guys, this is just such a big topic. And I'm going to put a bunch of resources together that I hope spark conversation, in your life. And whether it's you personally or you have a good friend or family member that you can share these things with, my biggest goal in this is to just draw out a new conversation and awareness to birth and babies. Please join me in my birth story memoirs. I'm going to tell you my stories. I would love, 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 love for you to flood my Facebook and these comments. Tell me what went really well in your birth. Tell me where you're at right now in your pregnancy. Show me those gorgeous birth pictures. Let's talk about all the things that are going really, really great out there and the things that, we need to heal and get vulnerable about in our birth stories as well. So I love you. This is a big topic. We're going to play with it this week. Share your stories with me. I love and appreciate you. Mwah!